nasal passages and think, no, don't do that. Relax. It's fine. And if there are any influenceable parts there, I feel like I'm probably influencing them. You know? I was thinking recently, I was in a conversation and it came up. It's so weird how, like, you can have your actual thoughts and think about moving your arm. And then to, like, actually move your arm, you do something indescribably different. And it sort of is similar to moving your arm, but it is not. That's why I don't buy that, like, Friston free energy thesis about, like, oh, it's just minimizing an expectation difference or whatever. Because I can expect my arm to move in what feels to me like a pretty hard way from the interior of my mind. And it doesn't seem to do anything. I mean, you could argue maybe I'm not really expecting it correctly. Maybe if you study the neuroscience, you're like, listen, I know those feel pretty similar, but one is using, when you actually expect things, you're using cortex A, and when you are just thinking about how you could expect your arm to move, you're using cortex B. Whatever. You're using the old cortex. You need to be on that neocortex. But granting my assumptions, then I feel like it's not expectations, and you could try to make a funny explanation for why it is still explanations, but then expectations. Jesus. But then it seems to me like you've actually kind of encoded. You've found out that the brain like encodes two different facts about your arm in a very similar way, which is actually not that surprising. Like, it's very useful if true, but it's not that surprising. Like, oh, what you do when you perform an action is on some level think about what you want to do and then you do it. It's like, yeah, I kind of knew that one actually. Then again, on the blog of the guy who was reviewing these concepts, who is the only reason I know about them, he said, I tried to stop understanding this in terms of the science and just pay attention to what I was doing with the soup and the spoon when I was eating soup. And yeah, I really do just expect my hand to move really hard, and then it does. And I was like, man, what a crazy thing to say, because I don't feel that way. As I told you, I just tried expecting my arm to move. And like, when I move my arm, am I also thinking like, now my arm is gonna move? Yeah, because I'm not like moving my arm for no reason. I know where I want it to be. But he read the paper, so he's more qualified to know. I read his summary of the paper. But at the same time, the thing he described is not something I would find convincing. Like, if it happened, I guess if it happened the way he described, I would find it convincing, but I just don't think what he described occurs. In my mind. At least. It's Scott Alexander, by the way. This was in Slate Star Codex. Get out your Friston blankets. Your Markov blankets for your Friston free energy. I thought free energy was perhaps not a precisely named concept either. It's a useful concept in many ways, which Friston also thought. A blue enemy, you say? I think Friston was like, whoa, this concept is so cool. I saw some ants moving faster on the pavement in the sunlight than on the shadowed part of the pavement. And I thought, yeah, that's it. That explains the entirety of life. And like, in a way, he's right, you know? Like, that's a kind of statement of the law of thermodynamics, kind of evolutionary system type thing, right? You know. Although, I don't know if the ants are actually a good illustration of that. But I think it's fairly close on some levels. The milestones tab. Well. What do we got going? Okay, that might not be as useful as I thought. I was sort of thinking that's getting a little bit annoying, so I'll grab that. I was sort of thinking the milestones would help me, like, progress more exponentially, but since they just give you a cash bonus, I think you are still sub-exponential. It's more like a logarithmic bonus on top of your linear progression or whatever. It's probably also like a exponential progression, just sort of with a small exponent. Oh, it's becoming annoying because my attack radius is so large. I set taking a picture to attack mode and end my turn. Speaking of ending my turn, I think after this one we gotta call it. That ended a little bit too soon. That ended just a little too soon for my comfort. We'll do one more. Oh wait, hold on. Interesting. That feels like it's gonna get crazy in a way that I won't find aesthetically satisfying, even though it will be useful to me as a player of the game. Nah, that's one of those long nuanced sentences that people come up with on Twitter. I don't think it can work It's not actually based on volume. These sizes are merely suggestive. Yeah. Like, those are completely different volumes in the two. Or are they? Yeah, no they are. Ooh, Mr. Explodey. I guess that explosion feels a little understated, but it's probably good for a game that's gonna stack them so much, presumably. Oh, well, that'll be nice. Okay, well, I was serious that I'm gonna go to bed now, so... I forgot to set the stream title before this. Dope!